Hello everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode we are going to look at how to play the Tier 10 Russian heavy tank, the Object 277. This tank is considered to be the heavy medium of all the Russian heavies. So let's get started and look at what sets this vehicle apart from its tech tree siblings. So the armor of the Object 277 is very colorful and one of the most trollish profiles I have ever seen. The hull is not strong thickness-wise compared to its siblings, but the rounded boat-like hull just proves to be unpredictable at times. You often find that you will bounce shots you shouldn't have, and take shots when you should have bounced them. Now regarding the turret, it's the usual Soviet-style design and is very capable of bouncing shots. The only major weakness on the front half of the turret is a weak part on the right front next to the mantlet. Other than that, though, it is a standard tank in which the top of the tank is very weak and susceptible to artillery attacks. Now, the mobility on the Object 277 is why the tank is considered to be a heavy medium of sorts. The forward speed is 55 kilometers per hour, and the reverse speed is 15 kilometers per hour. This means you can keep up with the more mobile mediums and support them, as well as be able to flank. Also, all traverse speeds of the 277 practically are the best amongst the four tech tree Russian heavies, but also be wary that the weight of the 277 is the worst amongst the four, making ramming not a viable option against larger foes. Now, the chance of fire is amazingly low at 12%. This means that you can run food without a second thought of, do I need a fire extinguisher? Now, for the gun, it has the second best base reload of all the tech tree Russian heavies at 12.5 seconds, with the IS-4 having the best reload at 11 seconds. Accuracy-wise, it has the best at 0.38, with the second best accuracy going to the IS-7 at 0.4. The gun depression is also in the middle of the pack at 5.5 degrees of gun depression, with the other tanks having either 5 or 6 degrees of gun depression. But sadly, the Object 277 has the worst elevation at 15.5 degrees. All in all, the gun performs better than its counterparts, but you may struggle more fighting on inclines. Now, how do you set up the Object 277? Well, in terms of consumables, I run 20 AP, 15 heat, and 0 HE because of the limited ammo capacity of 35 rounds. I want all my rounds to be capable of penning heavily armored targets because, I mean, if the event that I'm brawling or supporting a flank or an assault, really, I want to be able to have the ammunition capable of being in a prolonged engagement. I don't want to be, shooting all my rounds and then being stuck with 5 HE that I can't use in a brawl against equally heavily armored tanks. I'd much rather just shoot an artillery piece with AP. I also run a repair and first aid kit, as well as a fire extinguisher, because of my luck with artillery. But because of the incredibly low fire chance, you can forego the fire extinguisher if you want. For equipment, I run gun rammer, vertical stabilizers, and vents to improve the gun characteristics. Of course, if your goal is to increase the vision of the tank as much as possible, you can swap vents for optics if you wish to do so. Now, playing the Object 277 offers often more options than some of its siblings, but I tend to play the 277 in either a supporting role, supporting a medium advance or flank push, or if the terrain is right, I will play the Object 277 in the thick of it with all the other heavies because of the mobility and better gun handling. I am able to keep up with mediums and provide often more reliable and direct fire support for a push on a flank, but because of the lack of elevation and depression on the gun, I cannot fight on ridgelines that well, and often may have to push to a more favorable position just to be more of a threat. As for brawling, though, because you are practically the same height as an IS-7, you can often use the same spots as an IS-7. And because of the 277's heavily sloped boat-like hull and strong turret, you will find that many tanks can often fail to penetrate your armor in a face-hug brawl. Now, that concludes the overview of the Object 277. Let's take a look at some gameplay. Now, here we are on Mountain Pass Standard Battle. For some reason, my capture card failed to record the whole thing. Like, it stopped recording 3 minutes in or so, and I had to do it the old-fashioned way. But that's not much of a big deal here. There wasn't much action in the first 3 minutes anyway, so we're good to go. It's not big of a deal. But I start up here in the north, and I know exactly where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to one of the most important flanks of the map here, and that is going to be in the J2, J3 area right there, and defend the southern flank. Oftentimes, I still really do believe that the southern flank is the most important spot of the map, because the north, if there is no artillery support, the north can really hold its own up there on the hill if they're smart about it, because they're shooting down and you are assaulting uphill, and Sun Tzu oftentimes has pretty much said, you're always going to be, the underdog in an uphill fight. Not those words exactly, but in summary, that's pretty much what it is. But I'm pushing south here with a couple other tanks, and my main goal right now is I want to try and push as far as I can. I was preparing to stop right here in this little bump in the middle of the path, thinking that maybe that there's more mediums there than I'm seeing on the mini-map, but just so happened that Providence was guiding me forward more, with no one being spotted right there watching for us to advance. Big mistake on their part, not having someone at least scout to see what's going on. So me and this 5100 were able to literally cruise on into a position to be able to get shots. Now this 430U is not paying attention. I'm able to just put a nice good snapshot into his side here, and now I'm trying to rotate to be able to go hull down and protect my rear. Luckily, though, I had artillery being able to just drop a bomb on top of them. Now, at this point right now, I'm just bobbing back and forth. I didn't really want to give them a solid shot on me, and I also was aware that there was artillery, and I didn't know if I was going to be spotted. So, at this point, we have a good amount of tanks stacked up here, and I'm just going to push through. All these tanks are literally doing this stuff. I'm just going to take a shot, take 2 shots. One of them didn't even pen, just damaged my track. And I'm just going to push forward, put another snapshot into the Object 140, and I'm going to let my teammates have it, because there's no point having to fight like a pack of hungry wolves on one little, piece of meat. So I'm going to push forward and apply pressure here on this corner. I'm asking for help because I don't want to be sitting here dilly-dallying with artillery in a more than likely very good spot to just rain something down on me. And I managed to put a nice good shot into a AMX 13105 who was not paying attention to what he was doing, and I managed to put another really good shot into the Charioteer trying to cross into the open. I have no idea what he was going to try and do. It was a little late to cross into the open there, and he lost a good amount of his health. Now, I held my shot on the Bat Chat there. I didn't want to rush because he was already moving into cover at a good speed by the time I actually completed my reload. So I'm going to hang around behind cover, and I'm going to try and wait for him to make a mistake. But I figured that he actually did have Sixth Sense on. He had Sixth Sense, and he wasn't rolling out as far. He only rolled out as far as he needed to, which made it a little hard for me to actually get a shot. But he did overextend just a little bit, allowing me to get a good track shot in, and allowing a teammate to put another good shot into him, punishing him for his mistake. Now the Bat Chat's trying to side scrape as well as the Object 705, but I tracked the Object 705 with an earlier shot, and as you can see, I'm getting a nice good chunk of track assist right there, and at this point now, the only main focus is this bat chat that is pretty much the biggest threat. Everything else has fallen back down into this ravine or has already won the northern flank. Now, at this point, I'm already thinking, this is going to be a very close battle. The rest of my team is here with me. There's no one else spread out. So I had a little bit of some hopes up thinking that we might be able to win this. But unfortunately, two of my teammates have just go down really, really quickly. This entire game was fighting. I think this was during the this whole desync fiasco earlier this week is when I had this game. So you're seeing these frame rate drops, desync, teleportation things going on here. It was pretty bad earlier, but right now what I'm doing, I'm trying to play the armor to the strength. I saw a shot from an unspotted tank roughly in that area, so I just put a blind shot in, hoping I might hit him. I did not, and now I'm just backing up because I saw that the 13105 was still around somewhere, and I had a feeling someone was going to try and sneak up on us. I turned out to be right. 13105 was actually coming up behind us. So at this point, I put a nice, good, solid shot in the 13105, track him as well, but he had just burned his repair kit or his second repair kit, whichever one he had, if he had a second one. And now I'm trying to bait him. I'm trying to bait him into thinking that I'm not even going to bother. Bat chat rolls up. I put a nice, good snapshot into him, taking care of him. That's one auto loader down. And now I'm still trying to bait this 13105. I didn't want to overextend and get myself killed by a flanking tank, which is why I backed up. And the bat chat, I turned out to be right there with my little sixth sense of thinking there might be another tank. Unfortunately, I'm knocked. All my other teammates are knocked down, so now I have to deal with all these tanks by myself. I take care of the one tank to get him out of the fight as quickly as I can. Now you're going to see my armor is able to hold up to a decent amount. And, I right now I'm focusing on trying to stop both tanks from flanking me. I do track the IS-4, and now you're seeing that the armor profile of the hull is actually able to bounce shots that, it both should and should not have had. But of course, because like any other tank with sloped armor, if you put it up onto an incline, you end up making it easier for you to get penned. I take care of the 50 TP. I knew where to shoot the tank, and at this point, it was game over for me. I got ammo racked. I already burned my repair kit. Now I'm just trying to stall, but I knew it was only a matter of time. But I chose this game because I figured that it actually would be a very good demonstration of the capabilities of the tank. And as you can see here, it was not a bad battle even for a defeat. It probably would have been a mastery badge had it actually been a victory. But I walk away with over 6,500 damage combined with 4 kills. Overall, and a high caliber medal and bruiser medal. Overall, just a very, very good game in the Object 277. And that concludes today's video on how to play the Object 277. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.